Yo, welcome back to Max Motorsports and Small Engines again today. Here we are, back with the Ski-Doo Safari 377. The thing we're teaching you today is going to go for pretty much any sled. It may vary a little bit. I heard Yamaha has 3 sets of screws on their suspension, and that's fine. It's going to be pretty much the same situation. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, my brother was riding down the road. You guys might have seen the video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's where my brother's snowmobile track ripped. It ripped right in half, fell right off his sled, and it was kind of a big mess. But now we decided we may actually be modding his sled, because if you guys know Power Mods, he does a lot of great videos on modding his Ski-Doo Alans, and we're thinking Ski-Doo Safari 377 might be a perfect sled to mod. So we might be modding his sled. So today, anyway, I'm going to be showing you how to take your skid or your rear suspension, whatever you call it, off your snowmobile. I think this is a great topic, and I think you guys should probably all know it, because at some point, especially if you're a big rider, even if you're a small rider, you don't ride that much, you're probably going to have to change your track at some point in your life or send it off to a dealer. But you should know how to remove your skid, especially so maybe every year you like to take it out and grease it all up, get it ready for the next year. It's a great thing to know. So stay tuned. So along those lines of modding my sled, make sure you guys click that notification bell and subscribe to my channel, because it's all free and it helps me, it supports me. And if you click the notification bell down in the corner right next to the subscribe button, you're going to get notified when I upload. And so if we're modding the sled, you may want to see those videos, see what it turns out to be in the end. Anyway, obviously the track ripped off the sled, so obviously I actually don't have to take my track off because it's already off. But I am going to show you how to remove the suspension. And I'm actually going to show you what you're going to have to do when you have a track on too. There's one more step of it, and it's not that hard of a step, but we will have to do it to get the suspension out if you're going to be planning on, changing a track or just maybe taking the skid out. So actually, you guys probably didn't know, but I actually have a Facebook group for the people that watch me, and it's called the Max Motorsports Snowmobile Raiders. So you can go join that group. You also can follow me at Twitter at MaxCoal. And also, if you guys get a lot out of my videos and you want to donate to me, then you can also go to my Patreon page. All the links are going to be down below in my description. You can also subscribe, and that's completely free and it supports me. So make sure you do that. Give this video a thumbs up. Now we're going to get into the video. Believe it or not, taking a snowmobile suspension out, it can actually be kind of an intimidating job. And most of it's because there's going to be a shaft that 2 bolts are going to bolt into, and sometimes that can spin and be a big problem. It's going to be really hard for you to get it out. But I'm going to show you a couple tips of how to get it out and showing you, so hopefully you can get yours out. If you came here just for that, great, I hope I'll be able to help you get your bolts out. But it's definitely not intimidating enough to not do it, because it's really not that hard of a job. There's actually probably 4 to 6 bolts holding your suspension on, so it's not that big of a deal. Alright, I know this looks like a really old sled, and it is. It's a 1985, but it's pretty much going to be the same for all sleds, and it may be a little bit different, like on this 05 over here. We have one that's way up in there, and then one that maybe, I think, maybe under here, this plastic covering right here, which you will have to take that off if you have something similar to this, or it may bolt from the inside. I'm not 100% sure on this one, but it is a little bit different. Don't get scared, because snowmobile suspensions aren't that hard to take off. The hard part, especially in these old sleds, is getting it back on, and hopefully we'll have a video coming out of that soon with the modded sled. Alright, so most of you guys are probably going to have tracks on your sled, so I'm going to show you the first step on how to take it off, how to loosen the track up, so you can get your suspension out. So here we are, we're headed down to the rear, the farthest back bogey wheel here. And right here, as you can see, we've got that bolt right there, okay? So that's actually going to need to be loosened up just a little bit, not too much, but loosened up enough so the rear bogey wheels can move. Then we're just going to slide right over, head a little deeper in here, get myself in focus here. All right. So then we've got this jam nut that's up in here. You're going to need to loosen that up a little bit, and then loosen this up all the way. Bring it right out and let these bogey wheels slide right forward. And that's going to take the tension right off of your track. And then you just have to repeat the process on the other side. It's really simple. You just have to loosen that one, and then the 2 over there, that jam nut, and then the regular bolt over there. The whole set of bogey wheels, both sides, will come forward. And maybe you might have to give them a little bit of a tap with like a rubber mallet if you can bang on the inner part there and push it forward. But that'll help loosen up your track so you can get the suspension out. Alright, now it's time to remove the bolts that hold on the suspension. Alright, so normally you're going to have one up here and then one on the other side. Right up here, you're right by your steering column, right underneath it there. And you're going to have one up there And then out back, you're going to slide right into your runners there. And you're going to have one right there. And there's just going to be another one on the other side. So that's just 4 on this one. I think my biggest secret for you for undoing these bolts is do them evenly and don't take out one and then leave the rest. And then you get down to that last one and those shafts are just spinning on the inside. So, and if you already took them out, try to get them back in and do them just a little bit at a time and evenly. With my experiences, I always seem to have a harder time getting out the rear bolts, and the front ones usually come right out. So you may have seen that I've actually already backed mine out just a little bit. You're going to take the right size socket. It may vary on your sleds. And you're going to just start loosening them up slowly. You can do it with just a ratchet, but what I really recommend, I actually did this one with a ratchet and it worked fine. This one was actually really easy. They all backed out really easily. But what I really recommend is if you can have an adapter just like this one that pops right into your impact driver, your air drill, where it's hammering that thing out, really rattling it. I think that's the best way, is to really just hit those things with some hammer force out of that impact driver. So use your impact driver if you have one, and you gotta have this adapter, and then you can slide your sockets right on there. Make sure you're getting the suspension off the ground somehow. Either get it up in a lift it up in the air from the ceiling, flip it on its side, somehow get the suspension, the weight off that suspension, and that's gonna help keep the bang down when it pops. So I could get it on the lift, but this old snowmobile is so hard to get on my lift because the ski stance is so small. So I think I'm just gonna flip it on its side. I'm gonna lay something down so it doesn't scratch the sides up too bad, and I'm gonna flip it right on its side. People with 4 strokes, don't flip your sled on its side, and don't flip it over. And if you want to get some work done before you flip it over, or get it up on the lift, you can actually loosen them a little bit before you get the suspension off the ground. But before you take them all the way out, you should probably get that suspension up off the ground. Flip over time. It's all flipped over. All right, here we go. We got our rear bolt. Remember, do it all even. Don't take it out too much. Now you may find it's a little bit hard to get to this front one. So you can see you got that piece of plastic there that's in the way. But I bet you guys can find a way to get in there. Use your regular socket. It'll probably work. Try that. One of my tips is just spraying some penetrating oil on the bolts there, and it'll help bring them out. So one person said if you've got one bolt that's coming out and the other one is just spinning the shaft, take this one out, put a jam nut on it, screw it back on, and it'll help get the other one out, and then you can just take this one out like normal again. And here's another tip, and actually, this one might not seem very safe, but it's got to do with fire. So get your torch out and actually heat up the bolt. And the reason for this is as long as you're careful and you don't melt your snowmobile, this is a great thing because I heard some of the companies were using red Loctite on those nuts, or those bolts, and that's the kind of Loctite that you put it in, hardens up, and usually it's not very easy to take them back out again. Use the blue Loctite if you're going to put them back in. Don't use the red stuff. It's going to hold them there well, but when you go to take them out, it's not going to be easy to get back out. What that torch is going to do is it's going to help melt that red Loctite and get it loosened up so the bolts will come right out. Alright, so just get up in here, and it's probably not going to be out at all. And just heat what you can of this nut. Looks like everything's steel up in here. If you have any plastic parts like this, stay away from it. Just heat around that thing. Get it all heated up. Oh, we got a little plastic sheave back there. You got to be careful of. And you probably all know that there's a couple grease fittings. There should be a couple grease fittings up on this bar that it goes into. And look around for those grease fittings, because if you can, what you can do is take the grease fitting out and screw a sharp screw inside of it. And that'll help hold the 2 sheaves together, and it'll help be able to take your bolts out a little bit easier. Alright, so that's it for tips. Now I'm just going to be taking off my suspension. I'm just going to be probably using the impact driver and then a socket for the front too. Last night I didn't have any spinning when I was starting to take them out, so I think I'm going to be good for the rest of the way. Switching up, even though I don't have to, just because I am in the video. little bit of bang there, but not much. It's the rear ones that really give you the scare. Woo-wee! Be careful of that. This is the first time I've done that side. Man, it bent out. Wouldn't call that good, that's for sure. Well, you guys sadly didn't get to see that. I didn't film it that time. I did get the suspension out. I went to go pull it up so I could get my socket back on, and just popped out. It was right there. Actually, the loudest one. It wasn't very loud this time, but loudest one was up front, down there. That I didn't video. So that was fairly loud. All right, there you have it. And people with tracks, you're just going to have to wedge it out. And maybe it'd be better to get it back down. If you've got it on its side, get it back down and lift the rear end of it up. I think that'd be better. And it'd be easier to pull it out of the track. It can actually be kind of a challenge to just wiggle it out of the track. And that's all you have to do is wiggle it out of the track. Anyway, video on probably taking the drive shaft out, the jack shaft, and more videos coming up. We might be modding this sled, so we might have some more videos. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. It's all free and it really supports me. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for joining us back at Max Motorsports. Happy motorsporting.